All right, hey everybody, welcome in. Trevor with you again for another flight here on SkySim. And today we're gonna have a fun one. We're gonna go ahead and go over to Seattle from Boise. So welcome in. We are sitting on the ground right now in Boise. And we've got Alaska Airlines 737-900. Got some passengers loading in, about 57 of them. And we'll get some baggage on and take care of some other fun things while we're here at the gate. So we'll take you inside. I'm going to try to show you all the fun things about the 737-900. And we're running it from a turnaround state today. This is the flight from earlier today. Would have gone about 3 o'clock Boise time. It's 2 o'clock Seattle time to take off and head over there. And so we should get a nice view into Seattle before it gets dark. And we are going to have a little bit of ATC with us today. Looks like we'll be having Salt Lake Center taking care of us on our way out.
Someone wants a new seat, so we're just going to wait to see if you have any available, but we'll be ready shortly.
6054 it looks like is going to be that departure frequency. And 120275. All right. So if you haven't flown with me before, I am not a real-world pilot. I just do this for fun, and so we'll have a good time today with it. Let's go ahead and get some things started off here. One of the first things we're going to do is go ahead and set our inertial reference, the 80 IRU. So we'll let that run in the background. Does mean we'll need to give it an IRS position here, which we've got there. So let's plug in. Our departure is Boise. Our arrival is Seattle. Move this more or less to the center of the screen so you guys can see it okay. I'm going to request a flight plan with that information. Should bring one back. I will show you guys here. I'm using SimBrief. So this is our route today. Boise up to Seattle. Portland's our alternative. For some reason we couldn't make a landing in Seattle. So that's where we're going to go today. We are using 13,054 block fuel, hour and 12 minutes in the air. We're going to cruise at 40,000. We have 57 passengers and 4,000 pounds of cargo on board for a zero fuel rate of 117.4. So that looks good. Plug in our airports there.
Redwood 213, squawk ident.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I would love to welcome you aboard our flight.
Activate that.
When you find your seat, please be sure to place your larger carry-on items in the overhead bins and smaller items underneath the seat in front of you. Unless you're in the front row, please place all of your items in the overhead bin.
I can tell from our conditions.
Carry-on items, please let a flight attendant know and we
3006.
If the overhead bin
300
is full, please make sure you close it as a
is
courtesy
our
to other
current
passengers.
wind.
213 Salt Lake Center, squawk ident.
So we'll be using runway 28 right.
If you're in an emergency exit row, please read the exit seating responsibilities in the card and seat back in front of you.
28
If you're not able to
right.
comply with these actions, please let a flight attendant know. That way you can be You are free to use your portable electronic devices during the boarding process. We ask that larger electronic devices are stowed once you depart from the gate. Thank you and welcome aboard.
28 right, that all looks good. I'm going to go ahead and fill in our fuel information here. So that info right there is not accurate. Let's go ahead and check out what our fuel looks like. I told you guys block fuel is 13,054. 54. And for payload, we have 57 passengers on board.
Redwood 213, radar contact 52 miles northeast of Tonopah VOR. Welcome aboard.
And our zero fuel weight
Position
should
check
be
for Redwood 213, and for an emergency aircraft, we'll be trying to proceed to our destination at some time, but we might have some problems. We'll let you know.
Redwood 213, state the nature of emergency.
We have an electrical failure and a hydraulic failure, and probably more. We'll find out in a minute.
Alright. So, now we'll go ahead and plug in our zero fuel rate. 002. Cost index on Alaska Airlines is 15 for a cruise level of 4,000. Alright, we're going to derate on our takeoff.
United 738, leave my airspace. Radar service terminated. Frequency change approved. Good day.
And 19.2 it looked like on our on our center of gravity. That'll set trim for me, so I'm going to go ahead and trim our aircraft here. Alright, everything else looks good there. So I'm going to check a couple more things with our departure. We are going direct to Ola. We're going to use the Chins 4 on our way into Seattle. So we'll use Chins 4. Okay. PDT transition. That's Pendleton, Oregon. Go ahead and close our cargo doors. We're done with that. And let's try to figure out why our positioning hasn't set.
We're ready to go when you are.
We're not quite ready. Well, maybe we will be here in a minute. Let's go back to our position. We'll try to get us. Alright, let's see what we got here. Try to get our IRS to turn off here if I can. If I get it on a line. Yeah, let's close our forward door.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard Flight 1330, the service to Seattle. Our flight time will be roughly 1 hour and 12 minutes. Now that the cabin door is closed, please make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your large devices are now shut down and stowed. Please fasten your seatbelt and make sure that all tray tables and seat backs are in a full upright and locked position.
That should get us going now.
Cabin crew, secure doors for departure.
There we go, that's what we wanted. Alright, so we'll get that all aligned now. That shouldn't take it long. Okay, all looks good. Okay. Okay, everything else looks good. All right, I'm gonna take a look at our departure information here. Everything looks good. Doesn't look like we've gotten much information really, except that we're cleared to our altitude of 38,000 here.
Redwood 213, flight plan states flight level 370, indicating flight level 350.
Oh, we have a step. We'll request 370 on the
Redwood 213, climb maintain flight level 370.
Maintain flight level 370.
This is interesting. I'm not sure what's going on. With all of our alignment here. I haven't seen our system struggle like this before. Try to see if I can get to switch off here. We'll try it again. So let's go ahead and try this again. Turn it over. I might just want it on a line. Let's see what that does. gives us anything down here. There it goes. It might just be a little bit crazy. Alright, I'm gonna try shutting off our battery power here.
Evening, Salt Lake City Center, American Airlines 1667 with you at flight level 330.
American 1667 Salt Lake Center, squawk 6006.
6006 on the squawk, American Airlines 1667.
We're gonna try this all over again on our APU here.
American 1667, radar contact 29 miles west of the Baker City board. Be aware, welcome on board.
Does sound pretty good. Alright, so we'll try this all again. Kind of weird, I haven't had it have trouble like that before setting up the reference units. There's our APU. So that came online for us. That all looks pretty good. Alright, so let's go ahead and work on getting this all set. I might have to do might have to put us in a cold and dark state and just reset it here. Alright, so let's go ahead and start all this again then. Turn our ground power on. Alright, we'll do some reference there. KBOI to KSE Alaska 1330. Let's request a flight plan. Select that. See it pop up here. And we'll load that. Alright, so sorry it took us a little bit to get to this point, but I think we should be in better shape now. Let's go ahead and activate that. Alaska 1330. Make sure I get our APU started here. There we go. Alright, well, not sure what exactly our problem was, but we did get it fixed. Sometimes that's an airplane for you. Just power it down, turn it back on, see what happens. Alright, no special departure. We are going to use the chins for Pendleton transition. Alright, RTO, flight directors. We're going to go to runway 28, so if I remember correctly, that is 282. Alright. Seems much better. Alright, turn my lights back on where I want them. EPU's good to go. Let's go ahead and turn off our ground power. Set some parking brakes. Everything else looks good, so let's go ahead and request our pushback. Pull out our checklist here. Yaw damper's good. Emergency exit window heat. Parking brake engine starts cut off. Feels good. Takeoff speeds are good. Anti-collision's already on. Let's prepare our pushback. And they do want to do de-icing, so we'll go ahead and do that. Everything else looks a-okay there. Let's do a little taxi briefing here while we wait on the de-icing units. We're right here. Pushback taxi via Alpha. Alpha all the way out to 28 right. So there we go. And actually, did not want to keep our V speeds. Didn't keep any of our fuel information. So we'll fix that really quick. Fuel wise, what did I say our block fuel was? 13,054. 13,054. Return here to our payload. 7 and 4. 7 and 50 actually. We have 57 passengers on board.
Confirm aircraft is ready for treatment.
And 4,000. Yep. Fluid type 2, 50%.
We begin treatment now and observe. Fluid type 2. Concentration at 50%. I will call you back when ready.
1,000. 3,000. And 3,900. Alright. 20.1. 2.0. 15 on the cost index. 400. And let's see, we said D rate, climb, takeoff, flaps 5. 20.1. And we didn't fill in our runway probably. 28 right. So if I come back to my takeoff page, we got speeds now, which is great. And we'll go to our legs. Here we'll go to our progress page. And we're going to turn on our weather radar, both sides. Turn weather on there. Have to tune our radios again. And 120275. God, and I just can't get my takeoff speeds to take here.
De-icing and anti-icing completed. Anti-icing code is fluid type 2. Concentration at 50%. I'm disconnected. Good day.
All right.
Redwood 213, contact Salt Lake Center 125.902.
So we're about ready to go here. A little bit of work that we had going on, but that's all right. Get our ground power disconnected here. We're still getting out on time.
Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engines.
Redwood 213, contact Salt Lake Center 125.902.
125.902, sorry about that. Mr. Handoff, we'll talk to the Redwood 213.
All right, looks good.
Hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback.
They want us to hold on our engines because we're going to have our engines start up after pushback since it's icy.
Locking gear.
It's a fairly normal procedure for us. So nothing too surprising there. So we'll get pushed back here, and then
Departure check completed.
we'll talk to our center
Bypass pin
controller.
inserted. Release parking brakes. Commencing push. Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start until push completed and brakes set.
So we will go ahead.
Gentlemen, please direct your complete attention to the flight attendants as they demonstrate the safety features of our aircraft.
We will wait
You will notice
for
the
this
light
pushback to be
illuminated above
completed.
you. When this light is illuminated, please fasten your seatbelt low and tight across your lap. To fasten, insert the metal fittings into one another and tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. To release your seatbelt, lift the upper portion of the buckle. We suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the flight as we may experience unexpected emergencies. There are several emergency exits on this aircraft. Please take a few moments now to locate your nearest exit. In some cases, your nearest exit may be overhead. If we need to evacuate the aircraft, floor-level lighting will guide you towards the exit. In the event you have to move this pressure, an oxygen mask will drop right in front of you. Start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you.
Set parking
Place
brakes.
it firmly over your nose and mouth, and secure the elastic band behind your head. Tighten the straps as necessary and breathe normally. Although the bag does not inflate, oxygen is flowing to the
All right, so we can go ahead and start engines now, so that's good. Let's turn our packs off,
Leave your mask on until a member of the crew advises you to
so
take
we
your
can
seat.
do that.
In the unlikely event of a water landing, a life vest is located in a pouch under your seat or between the armrests. When instructed to
Unlocking
do so,
gear.
open the plastic pouch and remove the vest. Put it over your head. Wrap the straps around your waist and buckle at the front.
Tow truck
Pull the strap
disconnected.
to tighten.
Bypass pin
Inflate
removed.
the vest, pull firmly on the red cord only when exiting the aircraft. If your life vest does not inflate automatically, blow into the mouthpieces for manual inflation. Each vest is equipped with a whistle and light. If necessary, your seat cushion can be used as a secondary flotation device. Pull the cushion from the seat, put your arms into the straps, and hug the cushion to your chest. Once again, all devices must be in airplane mode and your
Left
larger
is clear.
devices must be
Right
turned
is
off
clear.
and stowed at this time. Please securely stow your personal items. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened and seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position.
Give us some
We remind
hydraulics
you
here.
that this is a non-smoking flight. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detectors located in the lavatories is prohibited by law. All of this information can be found in the safety card located in the seat back in front of you. Please read it and let a cabin member know if you have any questions. Thank you for flying with us, Jen, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
Okay. Good there. Check my flight controls. Right. Left. In. Out. And our rudder pedals are good. Alright. So we're complete there. Generators probe heat, anti-ice, everything else is good. Anti-ice is on and our packs are back on. We're good to go. Anti-collisions are on. I'm going to turn our strobe on while we taxi here. Alright. Salt Lake Center, Alaska 1330, rated taxi in Boise.
Alaska 1330, runway 28 right, taxi via Alpha.
28 right via Alpha, Alaska 1330. See what our transponder is, 6054, I need to fix that. It's kind of cloudy here in Boise today, which is no problem. Make it kind of nice to get out of here and get, hoping a little over an hour in the air to Seattle. That's our plan right now, at least. We'll see how all that goes. Flaps are set, auto throttle's armed. We should get our speed right here though.
American 1667, radar contact loss 0632 Zulu.
So we're going to ride Alpha to the end here, and then we'll be ready to... Salt Lake City Center, American 1667. My apologies for jumping off and on there. I was trying to troubleshoot an issue with my sim, but I think I got it figured out now, so thank you for bearing with me.
No big deal, radar contact.
All right. Get our turn off lights on.
The center say again for American 1667.
Received, we got you back, radar contact.
All right, thank you.
Alaska 1330, on departure, intercept the Boise Vortac 278 radial, runway 28 right, clear for takeoff.
Intercept the Boise Vortac 28 right radial and clear for takeoff, Alaska 1330. Alright, here we go. Get our landing lights ready, so we're cleared to go. So we'll pull onto the runway and we'll take off. Be on our way to Seattle. Here we go. Our engine speeds look good. Go ahead and hit toga. Here we go. $80 knots. V1. There's our rotate. We'll get up here. Positive rate, gear up. And we'll pull our flaps back a little bit here too. Alright, we're gonna fly on heading. Give our speed a hold. And I'll hold our vertical speed here at about 2.6 or 2.7. Let's get our flaps pulled back. Make our plane happier. Lock our gear. Turn our taxi lights off. Engines out of continuous. Salt Lake Center, Alaska 1330, 5,000, and been cleared to our cruise up to 380.
Alaska 1330, radar contact, climb maintain flight level 380, clear direct priest.
380, clear direct priest, Alaska 1330. We'll go LNAV there. We'll go to our climb profile here. We're going to go max rate. And we'll go ahead and give it a vertical nav setting there. Up to 380. Alright, so that is it. We are on our way out of Boise. Easy as that. And we're increasing our speed pretty quick. We'll get up and out of here. Poke through these clouds. Passing 10,000, we can go ahead and get our landing lights off. And our logo light can come off at this point too. Everything else looked pretty good at this point. I'm going to adjust our cruise altitude to 380. Landing altitude is going to be at 400. Everything else is good. Packs are set. Once we get through the clouds, we'll go ahead and adjust our anti-ice.
This aircraft is equipped with onboard Wi-Fi. If you wish to connect to the Wi-Fi, you will be required to pay a small fee. We do offer complimentary in-flight TV thanks to our partners. Connect to the Wi-Fi to find out more information.
All right. And here we go out of the clouds. Gonna prepare for what I already know is coming in Seattle, so we'll back our course down to 163. Very cloudy over the Pacific Northwest, not surprising for fall. There's 18,000, so we'll go standard on the altimeter. Now we can make our way over to Seattle. Just as easy as that. Thanks for the follow, Sam Blacklock. And go ahead and hop in the chat if you're with us. Be fun to talk with you a bit. Hey, what's up? Joining an exciting time. Get up into cruise and make our way over to Seattle.
American 1667, contact Salt Lake Center 125.902.
This is actually prepared 3D.
American 1667. Have a great night.
So I used to use FSX. Tried to play around with 2020 a little bit, but wasn't a huge fan yet. Yeah, hopefully they'll get some more aircraft added on there. This is the PMDG, which I love. Obviously, they make super high quality stuff. I think they've got some things in the work for 2020, so that'll be good to see if they can get some of that implemented. The thing I've wondered though, 2020, it's kind of weird because people can kind of spawn anywhere, right? Like I think they're still kind of working out some of the structure with the air traffic. Yeah. The 787's one I have here and prepared as well. Do enjoy flying that. Super high quality. It's fun to do long hauls on that too. Do you fly in real life, or are you just in it for sim right now? Yeah, me too. I live in Eastern Washington, and I've always enjoyed flight sim, and then kind of got back into it during COVID, and good activity for staying inside the house, and I've definitely expanded a lot over the last few months. I shifted over to P3D not too long ago, which is really nice. Got away from all the out of memory errors and all the famous FSX stuff, and started putting some resources in. We'll fly into a Payware Seattle here, and have a Payware SeaTac airport, which is fun. That's my home airport, so it's pretty amazing all the things that are out there and how realistic everything is.
With you, currently descending via the Court 3 arrival into Boise.
Sign up today at patreon.com.
United 265, squawk ident.
Yeah, I've had hopping on, like even just learning the 737. There's still things that baffle me. At the beginning of this flight, had some problems with the navigational stuff, but it is quite amazing to start learning all the systems.
United 265, radar contact, flight level 190, 32 miles north of the...
One of the cool things about it though is, so I like to fly a lot of 737 and then the 777 and the 787.
Apologies.
The nice thing is you start to get, you know, if it's all Boeing aircraft, everything kind of starts to align. Airbus I've messed around with a little bit. Airbus is very interesting because it's very computer based, really smart. 737, I enjoy it. There's a little more manual to it. And I think we'll be flying an ILS into Seattle. If it stays cloudy like this, I would be pretty surprised if we're not ILS into Seattle, which is fun. We can actually start looking through some charts here and stuff too.
Alaska 971, Salt Lake Center, roger.
Do you fly with any ATC or anything like that? Yeah. See, I'm very into the realistic. There's still some airlines that fly the 747, but I haven't even gotten that one from PMDG. I've just been kind of hanging out with the 737 and 777.
United 265, descend via Court 3 arrival, Boise landing.
So you should look into a program called vPilot.
We'll go ahead and descend.
That's what I'm using right here.
Arrival, Boise.
And vPilot does interface with Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. And that'll stretch you too. I mean, you'll learn a lot about ATC and kind of how to talk to them. Basically what it is, let me show you here. I'm going to share my display with you. So this is vPilot right here that I'm inside of. So this is actual air traffic control. There's people who you're fine. There's people who come on and they do controlling. So you'll get frequencies, people who are online. So right now I have Salt Lake Center with me. I don't think I'm going to get a handoff into Seattle, but if you're in a busy area, you can have tower frequencies, ground frequencies, approach and departure. And all that's tuned on our radios here on the 737. And all aircrafts have different radio systems, but like ours are right here. So I'm tuned to 120275, which you can see is this Salt Lake Center. And they'll give me instructions. Right now, a center frequency, you think of it as like your big command. There's not a lot for them to tell me right now. They've cleared me up to 38,000 feet. And this is our flight plan here. So we're working our way. This is Pendleton, Oregon. And we'll keep swinging up over the Cascade Mountains here, and then Seattle's off in the distance. So as we get closer, he'll give us some different commands and things to follow. But it's cool because anyone else who's flying on the network, you can actually see them as well. And we can take a look at a live map here. So I fly on VATSIM with vPilot, and you can make a VATSIM account. It's free. It's super easy. This is my aircraft here, so we can actually see me flying. These are other people online flying. So it's not very busy up here in the Northwest right now, and there's really not a lot of controllers going on. The controller in Salt Lake City, he dialed up the ATIS in Boise for me so I could get some weather information and things. But that's me right now heading to Seattle, and has some various information on it. But we can see some other people on here too. This guy is flying Miami to Portland. Nick's flying to Seattle.
Salt Lake Center, JetBlue 81 with you, flight level 380.
So it's pretty cool. You can do a lot of stuff with it. It's kind of neat.
JetBlue 81, roger.
This flight, let's see. Looks like we're looking at about 39 minutes until we're on the ground in Seattle, so not too long here. 2309 is our expected arrival. We're at 2230 right now. I think the flight plan called for about an hour, 12 minutes once we were off the ground in Boise. It's stressful at first for sure, but you kind of start to get comfortable with it. There's also some really great videos out there that can talk you through some of the V-Pilot stuff, and you know, I'll try to be, as I get some flights online here, I just kind of started with Twitch, but as I get some flights going and get on V-Pilot, I'll
Alaska
show you some
1330,
stuff.
leave my airspace, radar service terminal, frequency change approved.
Hey, we appreciate it. Over to Unicom for Alaska 1330. Have a great rest of your night.
Take care.
Probably the hardest part when you get started is just recognizing your call sign in the traffic, but yeah, it's kind of cool. You know, I like having some live ATC. So he just transferred me over to what's the Unicom frequency, which is just like if you're in uncontrolled space. So I can talk on Unicom and give readouts to people, but there's really no, I pulled up this map and took a look, and there's really nobody around me, so I'm not too worried about telling people where I'm at or anything like that. But yeah, it's pretty neat. Oh, I got you. Do you have one of the setups with the I dog sat for a guy once who had like the Sierra Bravo 215, that's cool. Guy who had one of the racing like gaming chairs, the monitor elevated and the steering wheel and everything up in there is pretty cool. I've got a super basic setup here. I can show you. Actually, I'll take the camera down here if I can. And so I've got a joystick down here, which is pretty neat, and then just kind of a basic, deal. Headset goes in and all that. Yeah, let me open up your Twitch right now. I am using, actually it's called the CH Eclipse yoke. And I do like the, I do like that yoke a lot. It has hand paddles for the rudders, which is cool because I haven't invested in like rudder pedals or anything like that, but I just hopped on and got a follow to you there for your channel. That's awesome. See some of your stuff there at the racing and then the Airbus. Probably the next thing I need to challenge myself with is getting a cooler computer setup. Yeah, I like Logitech stuff a lot. I think they do a really nice job. So do you compete in some circuits then? Another thing I like about this yoke is it's got a lot of programmable buttons on it. So like I have a push to talk on here for when I do my radio stuff, and all of my like panning around the cockpit and looking left and right with the hat switches. It's really nice.
Start of the stream.
I do know Penske. Well, that's awesome. Are you a big car guy then in real life? I've never been super into racing. I've been to a NASCAR race once in Arizona, which was cool. I heard I needed to see some racing in a different motorsport guy, yeah. I need to see on a different track. It was like I think I was at a mile track. So I heard it was kind of hard to watch NASCAR that way. It was like all the cars kind of get spread out. Anything with a powerful engine, then yeah, it was a cool experience though, just to feel the power. And I enjoyed. They had some, like, you could rent headsets and stuff there and listen to the crew chiefs talk to the drivers and all that, which was really cool to see the strategy and everything behind it as well. It was awesome. Ah, Australian Gold Coast. My brother, he studied abroad in Sydney, and he actually rode for U Sydney while he was there in college for a year, which is pretty cool. That's on the list. If fiance and I want to go to Australia for sure. Street track. Yeah, those are awesome. Isn't there's some, like, I know they do that in Europe too, some. Should be really cool. I'll check it out. The thing I found is, like, man, it eats your PC up 2020. I've got to get a higher end PC to really make it worth it. So that'll be a goal to save up for that. I've got a pretty low end gaming PC right now, because I really kind of got into it just in these last few months and didn't start off super high end, but probably upgrade the graphics card here at some point and try some of that out.
For a list of complimentary and premium drinks. Premium drinks are available for a small charge. If you wish to make an additional purchase...
But it was pretty amazing. I live in a small town in eastern Washington, and little college town. It's cool to see, you know, the way they were able to big map the 3D buildings and all that. I mean, they had down to the building that I work in, almost just spot on accurate. It's pretty crazy what they were able to do. Oh, that's awesome. That is way higher end than me, that's for sure. I'm in i7. Actually have it's a HP rig. It wasn't very expensive. It was like, got on eBay for $500 or something. It's super entry level. Are you streaming right now as well then? Oh no, I see, that was a stream from yesterday that was up there. I'm gonna check some of this out when I get off, watch some of these races. That's sweet. What time is it Australia right now? I know you guys are crazy different than us. Yeah, 5 p.m. Company I work for, we're worldwide, but we have some offices in Australia, and so it's always funny. I work in marketing, and so if I'm working with them, I have to think a lot about time changes, and sometimes to have it there on a Tuesday, it's like day earlier for us. It's a good choice. I'd have a whiskey if I could right now. I didn't grab one before I started. What's the beer of choice in Australia? Iron Jack or Greater Northern, all right. I like it. Peroni. I'll have to import some. I agree. That's how I am too. Yeah, you guys have some great sites there. Pacific Northwest is pretty awesome to fly over to. This is kind of crossing Oregon to Washington. Let's take a check on some times here. We shouldn't be too far from starting a descent. There we go. Now I can say it accurately. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. There we go. Yeah, I'm showing us a little under 30 minutes to Seattle, which is awesome. Well, now hold up. So you're getting up at 11 a.m. I want to get on that plan. I got to be dialed into work at 8. That's an overlay. Yeah, so I built that using Photoshop and a program called Fly Live Studio. So it's pretty cool. I do have there is a HUD here on the 737. So there's one right here, which is pretty nice. Yeah, it's a really great program. It's actually, so you can pay for like an upper level. You can pay for an upper level one. This one's it's freeware, and then I know enough with Photoshop to be dangerous, so I kind of just sized up a display and made a few adjustments to where I wanted the overlay to be, and then it has all the data, which is super nice. I love the progress bar at the top too, kind of show people where you're at in your flight. I believe so. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty confident they can interface with 2020. And you can pick a bunch of different data sets too to put at the top. Like, you don't have to have just the stuff that I have there, but that was the most relevant for what I was doing. So there are some different options. It is called Fly Live Studio. And it is free. Yep. And actually, I will, let me show display again here. So it gives you quite a bit of good detail here too. So you go in, and if you hit this little edit button on the dispatcher, you can set in your departure, your arrival, and what your call sign is. And then it'll automatically calculate the rest. So that sets up how far your trip is. That allows it to do the progress bar. But it tracks everything else. So vertical speed, indicated airspeed, ground speed, your heading, altitude, what type of aircraft you're flying. It'll pull frame rates, distance left, ETA. So it's pretty cool. It's got a lot of nice features. So this bar shows us just being a little over halfway there, but we're actually a lot closer. We're going to start descending and not too far here. So we're coming up into Washington. Yankee Kilo Mike is Yakima transition. That's in Central Washington. I'll just show you here on my charts. So we're flying the Chins 4 arrival. So we're here, we just crossed into Washington. There's the Yakima VOR that we're gonna fly over. And we'll fly right in here. So we're gonna come in over Chins. My expectation, let me check a weather here in Seattle. Yeah, winds at 190 degrees. So we'll be flying in at, so VOR, it's they're usually kind of right at airports, so I don't know a ton on some of the intricacies of the different types of radio navigation, but basically it's a waypoint, and there's a radio transmitter in Yakima at their airport, which is the VOR. VORs, a lot of times you're going to see them with airports. So like up in this corner over here, you can see the Moses Lake VOR. That's where Grant County International Airport is. I would have to Google what it stands for. That's actually a great question. It's something to learn about. I don't know if you've gotten a lot into flying approaches or charts. So this is real world operations in terms of I use a program called Navigraph, and it lets me fly real airline routes. So I plugged in the route. This flight I'm flying right now is from earlier today. So Alaska Airlines flew this flight. It's a regular service from Idaho to Washington. And this will give me all kinds of information. So on this arrival, I'm going to fly over Chins. There's this Ratty waypoint here, and it gives me some different details. So we're going to be landing south. So like when I hit Ratty, for instance, I need to be above 16,000 feet, and I need to be at 270 knots. Air traffic control would use this to help with some of the planning as we work our way in. And then again, Auburn, this is a little bit to the east of Seattle. We'll be kind of flying over the Seattle Valley here. 12,250 knots. And then from this point, we would depart at 343 degrees. We're flying north. The runways are almost oriented perfect north and south in Seattle. So air traffic control at this point would take over, kind of vectoring us around, getting us set up for the approach. We'll do it ourselves on this one, and I'll kind of fly you over the normal Seattle approach, which is pretty cool. And I do have an add-on City of Seattle scenery, which has some really nice details on it. And we'll fly it and kind of work our way in, so it'll be a cool thing to be able to show you. Coming up on the top of our descent here pretty soon. And then we're going to fly into Seattle. We're going to land on runway 16 right. There's 3 runways in Seattle. Right is the furthest one out from the terminals. It's usually used for our landing. So we'll turn over Seattle probably somewhere around, I want to say probably right at about CLAC here. And we'll make a turn south and we'll kind of join up with this whole arrival. So if you've just kind of been learning ILS, my localizer for runway 16 left, it's on a course of 164 and the localizer is 110.75. So down here on the 737 right below my radios, I can tune my navigation 11075 and we'll set that as our active going into Seattle. Then on the 737, it's pretty neat. We've got over here our localizer and our approach modes heading. Right now I'm letting the flight management computer fly our vertical and our lateral navigation. And I've actually set our courses here for what our final approach will be. It's a beautiful view coming in over central Washington, Mount Rainier out in the distance here. So we're going to go ahead and start descending. I'm going to plug in 16,000. If we had ATC at this point, they would start giving us clear to descend via the CHINS 4 arrival, which is that chart that I was keeping an eye on. And I'm using our vertical speed mode here to go ahead and set our descent. And what we'll see here is actually a green indicator line showing where we are. So that's where we'll hit 16,000 feet, is kind of in between Ratty and Hump. If I back it down to 12,000, which if you remember is where we want to be at Auburn. So we'll kind of slow our rate as we get over Ratty. And we also have a speed indicator there of 270 knots, I believe. So that'll give us a little freedom to work with. Yep, so if you haven't flown around the Seattle area before, Mount Rainier, it's about, say, 14,500 feet, really big mountain in the Pacific Northwest. It'll have a huge volcanic eruption when it does erupt next. It's an active volcano. Out in the distance over here, Mount St. Helens is down that way. It had a really famous eruption in the 80s. I think it was... Actually, might have been 1980, I think, if I remember the year right. So it had a huge eruption. Kind of similar idea to what will happen with Mount Rainier. But these are the Cascade Mountains up here. So kind of this snowy central Washington, eastern Washington area. I used to live in a town that's actually right there on this river, which is beautiful. Currently, I live out east this way in eastern Washington, and this is the Columbia River. Famously, Lewis and Clark obviously used that to get out to the Pacific Ocean, so it's pretty sweet. There's a good view of Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens there in the distance. When it blew up, it actually lost like a whole side of the mountain, which is pretty crazy. So we are right at 270 knots now, which is great. We're going to kind of stick right around that. So we just flew over Yakima. I am going to go ahead and plug in our approach here. So CHINS 4 is what we are flying. We are using the Pendleton transition, and we're going to fly ILS 16 right. And I'm not going to worry about a transition right now, because I don't think so. All right, so we'll execute that. And I need to go to my legs page now and plug in chins as our next waypoint. So now essentially what's happened to get a little bit of light bloom on these clouds here. So we get a little closer here, you'll be able to see, but we're flying currently northwest. We'll make a right turn to the north and turn into Seattle that direction. And hopefully you guys will really enjoy the scenery that I'm going to be using. Again, I apologize, my computer's not the highest end, so we might have a few jitters here and there, but it's a Drzecki design. Makes some great stuff. I use his Seattle-Tacoma Airport and then his Seattle City, so it's a nice mesh scenery for the ground of the surrounding Seattle area, and then a super high detailed city of Seattle. So we'll see the Space Needle and all that good stuff if the weather's permitting on our way in. Currently in Seattle, we are looking at cloudy skies, about 11 knots wind, 45 degrees, no rain or anything like that, but with it being cloudy, we might not get a great view of the city on our way in. Slow us down a little bit. We want to be, remember, 270 at Ratty and 16,000. So we got some other people who've jumped in the chat here as well. Feel free to chime in. Let me know where you're watching from, and if there's anything that you want to learn or take away from the flight, or if you're just enjoying. You're fine, Sam. But I'll try to give you a good example of the ILS here, so that you can continue to sharpen those skills. We'll do a little further briefing here as well once we're on the ground in Seattle. So these are our charts. We're coming in on 16 right here. We'll exit either November or Papa, come over here to the terminals, and we'll taxi via Bravo over to the Delta gates, which is this side of the airport. It's a pretty sweet airport, so it'll be fun to show you guys around there too. 26,000 feet right now. We're looking great because we want to be 12,000 at Auburn. And we're pretty much on track for that right now, so we'll actually have to slow our descent a little bit. Auburn, we're going to be 12,250. You can see we've picked up pretty well on our progress right now. We are into the very final stages of the flight. Some other things to prep for landing. Because of the weather conditions I mentioned in Seattle, just cloudy, so really no rain or anything on the ground. We're going to use a brake setting of 2. Not time to turn any of the lights on or anything. Landing altitude over here we've set at 400 feet. Our cruise was 38,000. We are coming in over the mountains with some clouds and stuff here, and we'll be turning to the right to head into Seattle. Looks like we're picking up a little bit of rain to the southwest of us on the radar, but that's going to stay out of our approach here in Seattle, so it's no problem. And just continue to check. There is no air traffic control in Seattle right now, so we'll stay on our Unicom. I'm going to go ahead and give a call to let people know that we're on our way in. Seattle area traffic, Alaska 1330 on the Chins 4 arrival, currently 15 miles from Ratty. Going to cross Ratty above 16,000 at 270 knots, and we'll continue on our way to Auburn for 12,250 knots. Be turning north from Auburn and joining the ILS 16 right approach into SeaTac. Seattle area traffic in Alaska 1330, ILS 16 right approach. We are 13 miles from Ratty, still about 20 minutes from Seattle. Mount Rainier hiding in the clouds there as we get lower. Altimeter in Seattle is 3019. So I do have that set here. You can see our altimeter, 3019. All right, we have met our requirements at Ratty here.
You're home from another stressful day at work. All you want to do is pour a glass of wine and listen to that one song on repeat. Your song. You know the one. Hey, no judgment here. In fact, let us play it for you, over and over, as many times as you need. Upgrade to YouTube Music Premium and listen to your favorite music on repeat.
So I'm really gonna go ahead and slow down our rate of descent here, and I'll show you why. We're gonna drop about 900 feet per minute right now because we want to be at Auburn at 12,000 feet, which is what we got set right now. There we go, good timing. We are on the descent into Seattle. Yeah, that's a beautiful mountain, Mount Rainier. That's the big one by Seattle. If it's a clear day, there's nothing better really than flying into that. I love flying into Seattle. It is a really beautiful, beautiful place to fly to. Problem on this flight today is we're pretty cloudy. I don't know that we're going to get to see very much, but we'll see. I do use a weather add-on. I use Active Sky, so this is pulling somewhat real-world weather of what the conditions currently are in the sky in Seattle. Our clock is just behind. Flying this from earlier in the day, this would be about, we'd be a little after 3 o'clock in Seattle right now at the time of this simulator flight. I'm going to fly an ILS approach for you, so you'll get to see that. Let's see if we can peek a look at Mount Rainier here once we get through. The clouds are a little funky that way. They kind of bounce around. Like a second ago, the altitude we were at, we could hardly see it. Now we're going to get a little bit of a good look at it. And this is a high res. It's part of the Seattle scenery that I own from Drizwecki Design. So it is a super high res version of the mountain. But that's pretty legit to what it looks like in real life. Did a nice job with it. All right. Are about perfect right now. The little green arc is where we're going to hit 12,000 feet, which is exactly where we want to be. And we are just going to fly this pattern north here and take us right up into Seattle. So 343 is going to be our departure heading from Auburn to take us to the north. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in right now. We're hitting a little bit of turbulence. Actually, a pretty decent bit of turbulence here. Passengers have got their seatbelts on. Looks like we're avoiding some rain out over the peninsula in Washington too, so that'll be good. Stay away from all that. I'm going to take a quick peek over here. On our ILS approach, I do want to turn in over CELAC. Charlie Echo Lima Alpha Kilo. So I'm going to add that to my approach over here. So that's where we'll kind of, because we don't have ATC, I know that's going to be kind of our left turn towards Seattle. Alright, so we are coming up on Auburn. As I promised, it's going to be nice and cloudy. I'm going to go ahead and get us down to probably about 6,000. And to accomplish that, I'm going to give us a little bit of speed brake here in the air, just to slow us down a hair. Alright, we turn to our vector heading here at 344. And we'll just make our way right up to Seattle here.
and gentlemen, the flight crew has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. Please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelt. We have begun our final descent into Seattle. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in a full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seatback pocket.
Alright, we're below 10,000, so our lights are going back on. And I'm going to get our engine switches to continuous. And we're going to more or less be a sterile cockpit at this point. So we'll get kind of focused on our landing here. Coming into Seattle, we're going to do what's called doing the Husky. Washington Huskies, college football team in the city of Seattle. They have a stadium just north of the city. It's called Husky Stadium. So the turn that comes into the approach, a lot of aircraft, they'll call that doing the Husky. That's because you fly basically right over the top of Husky Stadium, and we probably won't see it in the clouds today. But just for a little reference. Got us slowed down to about 230 knots. I'm going to give us one flap. And we are in the clouds now, so. Do have our anti-ice on. It's a little chilly in Seattle. Still above freezing though, 45 degrees. So you can see here when we make our left turn, we're going to want to be at 3,200 by the time we hit Bugni on our arrival. Probably going to slow us down to about 210 knots here pretty soon. So we work our way down to 6,000 feet. Again, not much to look at here. City of Seattle would be basically directly off to our left underneath these clouds. Alright, let's reduce our speed to 210 knots. And at heading 343, we are just about ready. We're going to go ahead and descend down to 3,200 on our approach. And let's go ahead and make that left turn now. So we'll turn our way right in towards Seattle here. We'll increase our descent rate just a hair. And we're going to take our second level of flaps. Since we're coming into the clouds, we might not see a bunch of Seattle right away. That's okay. Do have the localizer tuned, so we will fly that as we get turned here. I'm going to let that go ahead and bring us into Seattle. Alright, we picked up a localizer, so it's going to start turning us the right direction for the runway. Again, we are lining up with runway 16 right. Try to be 3,200 at Boogney. Yep, this is ILS, Sam. So right now we've captured the localizer. I'm going to arm our approach hold. So you can see our gimbals here as we're getting back on to being about around center, and we're going to see this guy drop and take us out of our vertical path. So reduced to 180. I'm going to give us a flaps 10. Just slow us down a hair. Yep, you can see the glide slope indicator right there. And unfortunately, you would see beautiful city of Seattle off to our right side if it wasn't a typical cloudy Seattle day. Instead, you'll see just clouds. But we are starting to get nice and locked in here. We are about ready to capture, and we have captured our glide slope. So I'm going to reduce this towards a landing speed and go ahead and give us some gear and flaps. And I'm going to pull our speed brake back. I'm going to arm it for when we're on the ground. But we'll slow right into our arrival now. For landing, we're on continuous engine start switches. Speed brake is armed, landing gears down, flaps are full, and we've got green lights. You can see the lights from Boeing Field down here underneath us. SeaTac will be right in front of us, and hopefully we'll pop through the clouds here in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and start controlling my speed manually, so auto throttle's coming off. And I'm going to pull our speed right around 140 knots. And we'll disengage autopilot here shortly. Can just start to make out the runway lights there. This is the exciting part of the flight. Aha, and here we go. Got Seattle underneath us. See the beautiful Lake Washington down there. And the sim did not like me very much for that, locked us up a little bit. Alright, we're going to go ahead and take over manual control of our landing now. So flew the ILS to get us in position, and now I'll land this puppy manually from here. So on our right is I-5. Highway goes all the way south as far as the Mexican border. Puget Sound off to our right. And we are going to land on runway 16 right here in Seattle.
1,000.
And once we're on the ground, we'll taxi into our gates. Slow us down just a hair here. I think I've got us coming on a pretty good angle here, but I might need to get us a little more online. Or maybe just a hair. Not too bad though. It's not very windy or anything right now in Seattle, so we're looking pretty good. This would be butter. Yeah. Got it. Flaps up. Let's turn off right here. What do we have? Anyone have the feet per minute there on the landing? Is it nice and smooth?
Gentlemen, welcome to Seattle. The local time is 3:23.
Oh, 1:39? All right, we'll take that.
45 degrees Fahrenheit. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain.
Take that for a nice little manual landing.
Please stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bin, as items may have shifted during the flight.
Welcome to Seattle, Sam.
We thank you for flying with us. If you're making a connection, we encourage you to check your itinerary to ensure a smooth continuation of your journey.
Yes, sir. It's a good time. It's a beautiful airport, too. This is my hometown. Absolutely love this airport. Alright, I'm taxiing us via Bravo. And we'll head into the Delta gates. Here we go. Yeah, I recommend it. It's a shame it was cloudy. The city's straight off in front of us there. Kind of zoom in for you. But we didn't get a great view of that, unfortunately. But this is a Payware SeaTac airport. It's a little polished up. There's some stuff under construction in real life right now, but they've really been building on, adding to this airport quite a bit, so it's pretty neat. We're going to come park over at the Delta gates next to those American Airlines planes out there. I love this airport. They did a nice job. They put some static aircraft in here just to make it feel a little less sterile. Derzwecki design. I think he's Polish. I hope so. I certainly hope so with Flight Sim 2020. I think they're making progress for sure. It feels a little arcadey to me right now, but I think they're kind of getting that figured out. And I think the add-on developers and stuff are all going to get their hands on it and make some really great products for it. So it's going to make it quite fun. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . But I'm kind of digging into Prepared and started splashing a little money in on some of the sceneries and stuff, so I might just focus on upgrading the graphics a little bit and upgrade the computer a little bit and kind of enjoy this one. So I get us parked here. So we're going to park right up next to this jetway. Actually, aircraft next to us. And this jetway is going to be a little easy for us. Sam, I appreciate it, man. Be sure to tune in next time. I'm going to check out some of your stuff here as I get off. So thanks again. Appreciate having you with us. Everybody else, a lot of fun to be with you. Enjoyed the flight. That's it. That got us from Boise to Seattle. And here we are. So we'll go ahead and get everybody off the plane. And we'll check in next time. But until then, appreciate all you guys being with us tonight. A lot of fun. Again, I'm Trevor. Feel free to drop a follow, leave some comments. If you're watching on YouTube, you can join the Twitch at TWilly509. And we'll see you next time.